Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. Today I'm going to show you 3 pro-level stats. They're all taken from a Grand Slam match. And I'm going to show you how to read these stats so that you play smarter tennis. So for the Australian Open, I picked one match between Ben Shelton and Lorenzo Sonego. This one's in the quarterfinals of this year, 2025, since we've seen enough Sinner and Alcaraz, and I will share some Sinner stats later. So as I go down the page, I want to show you something. So this was quite a tough match, you see. So 3 sets, 6-4, 7-5, 4-6, 7-6. Pretty tough match. And we're going to take a look at here at total points won. So you can see that Ben Shelton won 153 total points. And Sonego won 141. I'm going to take out my calculator here. And we're going to add them together. So 153 plus 141. So the total number of points was 294 in the whole match. And Ben Shelton won 153. So if I do 153 by 294, you can see that Ben Shelton won 52% of all points. So now you might think that this is very specific to this match, but that is actually a very typical number. So let me show you one more stat. This is from Craig O'Shaughnessy. He was actually presenting recently in Slovenia at the National Coaches Conference. And he shared some of the stats from the Pro Tour. So this is from the top 50 players 2018 season. And you can see that players ranked 1 to 10 on average in the whole season won a bit more than 52% of all points played. And so on. So you can see the stats. Players ranked from 41 to 50 on ATP Tour. So top 50 players in the world, they're already winning less than 50% of all points. They also don't win more than 50% of matches in most cases. And so this is something that you have to understand that it applies to most matches, unless you win 6-1, 6-love, that the point difference will be very small. You might win 55% of the points. Those were kind of the end of the year numbers for number one player. For example, Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, Murray, and so on. So when they had their best years, they won maybe about 55% of all points at the end of the year. But I want to give you kind of 3 takeaways from this number. And the first one is that you should stop expecting dominance in the match. Do understand that if you're winning 52, 53% of the points in the match, you will not really feel that. What it's going to feel to you is that you're winning every second point. Or in other words, you're going to be losing every second point. You're going to win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. And after 100 and more points played, there'll be a small difference and you're going to win the match. And so understand that the match will not really show you that you're on the right track. It's not going to be obvious. You have to trust your instincts. You have to trust your strategy. You have to keep a cool head and keep going forward. So I have here another note. Stop panicking after losing a few points. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Statistically, in the long term, you're going to lose maybe 48% of all points, and you're still going to win. And focus on consistency, not on perfection. So understand that you're not going to be winning 3 out of 4 points. It's not going to look perfect. It's going to be a messy game. But that's how the game of tennis is. So let's take a look at a few other numbers. If you like videos like this on real tennis tactics, hit the like button so I know to make more. And of course, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to go even deeper, click the join button below. I have a full YouTube membership where I post far more tactical content than I do publicly. There's over 200 exclusive videos, including a full tactics playbook series, mindset lessons, and weekly new uploads. You can join for a month, binge everything, and cancel anytime. So if you want to seriously upgrade your match IQ, check out the membership. All right, so let's take a look at some numbers from Wimbledon. I really liked what Wimbledon statisticians or the computers started putting in. So I picked this match, Sinner against Dimitrov. This was the 4th round match. And if you go through the stats, you're going to come on this screen where you're going to see attacking, neutral, and attacking again, right? So here we have Jannik Sinner, and he was attacking 23% of the match. 48% of the match they were in neutral situation on the baseline, and 29% of the match Grigor Dimitrov was attacking. So in other words, when Grigor Dimitrov is attacking, then that means Sinner is in offense and vice versa, right? So you might just kind of glimpse at this stat and find it very interesting, but I want to translate it for you into something actionable. And so if Jannik Sinner is spending 23% in offense, that means that he's spending 77% of the match not in offense. I'm pointing this out because so many players, recreational players, are always looking for more power. It's maybe one of the most common search terms on YouTube: more power on the serve, more power on the forehand, how to hit shots with more power, everything more power. That means your mindset is completely on the offense. I want to attack more. And here you have number one or number two player in the world playing really good tennis, and you realize that he will be 77% of the match playing either in neutral or in defense. So what are the key takeaways? So stop obsessing about offense. It's usually not going to be over 30%. So I went through a few of these stats in Wimbledon. You can do the same. And I found a few where, for example, Alcaraz was at 31% attacking. But those are very rare. In most cases, players are below 30%. Novak Djokovic was around 26, 28% of the match attacking, sometimes even lower. And this is on grass, which is the fastest court, and there is the most aggressive play. Now, of course, keep in mind there are a lot of serves here that are direct points. You can see here a bit below. First serve points won. So you see very high percentage of first points won after the first serve, because the first serve either forces an error or forces a short ball and they can attack after that. And so obviously the game is based around the serve on the men's tour, also on women's tour, on the top women's tour. But when they play on the baseline, so what these stats are telling us, how the baseline game is going on, you can see that they're 48% in neutral. And so neutral means no one is in offense, no one is in defense. They're both neutralized. They cannot attack, but they're not really in a defensive situation. And this is the biggest part of the game that you have to improve, because from this, if you play very poorly in neutral, then your opponent will be the first one to attack, right? So you have to understand, where does the attack come from? It can come from a very good first serve, but where players lose matches is their neutral ball is not good enough. So it's too short, it's maybe too safe, or they make too many unforced errors. So the key takeaway is to master your neutral game and put more work on your defense, because you're going to spend 30% of the match in defense. Now, how good are your skills in defense? Are you defending well? Are you defending deep? Or is your first defensive ball short and your opponent can put it away? Okay, so let's jump now into the Roland Garros match. I picked this match as an example between Zverev and Djokovic. That was a quarterfinal this year at Roland Garros. And we're going to scroll down a little bit through the stats. Here you can see stats, and you click on full stats. We're going to go here on full stats. And we're going to go a little bit more down. And you're going to see here one line that says winners. So you can see, so Djokovic here hit 42 winners, and Zverev hit 38 winners. Now we're going to expand this, and there's a very nice graphic here that shows you how did these winners happen, right? So now we're going to just take a look at ground strokes for you to understand something, right? So Djokovic hit 42 winners. You see those were 12 ground strokes, overheads, 1 passing shots, volley shots, 11 drop shots, 5, 6 aces, something else here. Who knows, maybe it was a net cord. But in any case, you see that there are only 12 ground strokes. And Zverev also hit 12 ground stroke winners in the whole match, right? So let me scroll back up that you see this was a 4-set match, lasted quite a while, 3 hours of tennis. So in 3 hours of tennis, each of them hit 12 winners with ground strokes, right? So now we're going to come a little bit lower here. and we're going to see type of shots, and you can see that here is the total number of ground strokes. So Zverev hit 526 ground strokes and Djokovic hit 496 ground strokes. And so now we're going to go back to the calculator and we're going to put 12 ground strokes. Let's take Djokovic first. So he hit 12 winners with ground strokes out of 496 ground strokes that he played. So we're going to go 496. And you can see that the percentage of winners based on his ground strokes is 2.4%. So that's like 1 in 40. 1 in 40, 1 in 50, somewhere there. So now, again, what is the lesson here? What are your expectations? How quickly do you go for the winner? Are you trying to hit it on your third shot, fifth shot, sixth shots, sixth shot? So Novak Djokovic is trying to hit it on average every 40 shots. Every 40 to 50 ground strokes, he hits one ground stroke winner. So for Zverev, it's a very similar number. So if we go 12 divided by 5 to 6, it's 2.3% of all ground strokes are winners. So just something for you to think about, some food for thought. I have here some notes. What are your key takeaways, right? So chasing winners will destroy your match. It's not about winners. It's about minimizing errors, looking for forced errors, try to force errors, but clean winners represent a very, very small percentage of the match. I did look at other stats in some other matches. In some matches, for example, I looked at Alcaraz with his monstrous forehand. He would reach about 5% of his ground strokes that were winners, but I did not see a much higher number, right? So depth and margin win, keeping the ball deep, having a really good neutral ball, like I mentioned before. And so winning tennis is low error and not high highlights. So don't focus on highlights in the match, but like every coach has told you probably before, it's more about consistency. And I'm kind of translating the numbers for you from the professional tennis that you see that also consistency is the key to winning. So let me know what you think. What are your takeaways from these numbers? I invite you to go to these Grand Slam stats pages and you look at them a little bit more with different eyes. Experiment with what I told you and look at other matches with these stats. And then let me know your conclusions down below in the comments. Share with other subscribers to Feel Tennis so that we can all learn more about smart game of tennis. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.